The sun scorched the Nevada desert, turning the asphalt into a shimmering mirage. Jayden Carter, a 17-year-old with a lopsided grin and dreams bigger than the horizon, gripped the wheel of his strange-looking car. The vehicle, a patchwork of sleek curves and exposed wires, hummed softly, its electric engine a whisper against the vast silence. Jayden's hands, stained with grease, trembled with excitement. He was driving his creation, a prototype he'd built in his foster mom's garage. Beside him sat Rocket, a scruffy mutt with one ear perpetually flopped over. Rocket's tongue lolled out, catching the breeze through the open window. Jayden glanced at his furry co-pilot, chuckling. "We're almost there, boy. Vegas is gonna see what we've got." He was headed to the Tech Innovators Expo, where his car, a solar-powered, AI-driven marvel, could win him a scholarship and a shot at a future beyond the foster system. But the desert had other plans. In his rearview mirror, Jayden spotted flashing lights. A police cruiser was gaining fast, its siren cutting through the quiet. His heart sank. "Not now," he muttered, pulling over. He'd been stopped before, always for looking suspicious. Rocket whined, sensing his tension. Jayden took a deep breath, bracing for what came next. Officer Greg Malone stepped out of the cruiser, his boots crunching on the gravel. A burly man with a sunburned neck and a permanent smirk, Malone had patrolled this stretch of Route 95 for years, his authority unchallenged. He adjusted his sunglasses, eyeing Jayden's car like it was a junkyard reject. "What's this, kid? A science project gone wrong?" he drawled, his voice dripping with mockery. Jayden kept his hands on the wheel, his voice steady despite the knot in his chest. "It's my car, sir. I built it. I'm headed to a tech expo in Vegas." Malone laughed, a harsh bark that made Rocket growl low in his throat. "You? Built this?" "Sure, and I'm Elon Musk." He circled the car, kicking a tire. "This thing's a hazard. Step out now." Jayden obeyed, his sneakers scuffing the dirt. He was tall for his age, lanky but strong from years of tinkering with engines. Malone's eyes narrowed, taking in Jayden's faded hoodie and the grease under his nails. "License and registration," he snapped. Jayden handed them over, his jaw tight. He knew this wasn't about the car, it was about him, a black teen in a place Malone thought he didn't belong. Malone leaned against his cruiser, flipping through Jayden's documents with exaggerated slowness. "Las Vegas, huh? Fancy expo for a kid like you." The kid like you hung heavy, laced with assumptions Jayden had heard his whole life. He thought of Mama D, his foster mom, who'd believed in him when no one else did. She'd sold her old Chevy to buy him parts for the car. He couldn't let her down. "Sir, the car's street legal. I've got the permits right here," Jayden said, pulling a folder from the passenger seat. Malone barely glanced at it. "Permits? For this junker? Bet it doesn't even run right." He tapped his radio, calling for backup. "Gonna need a tow truck out here. This thing's not safe." Jayden's stomach dropped. A tow would cost hundreds he didn't have, and he'd miss the expo. Rocket barked, leaping from the car to stand by Jayden, his hackles raised. Malone stepped back, hand on his holster. "Control that mutt, or I'll have animal control out here too." Jayden grabbed Rocket's collar, whispering, "Easy, boy." But inside he was raging. This wasn't just a stop, it was a setup to humiliate him. As Malone's radio crackled, a pickup truck slowed nearby, its driver, a grizzled man in a cowboy hat, peering curiously. Soon, a few more cars pulled over, drawn by the flashing lights. A small crowd formed, murmuring about the weird car, and the teens standing defiantly beside it. Jayden felt their eyes, a mix of pity and judgment. He straightened, refusing to look small. Malone, enjoying the audience, raised his voice. "Folks, This kid thinks he's some kind of inventor. Says he built this thing. He gestured at the car, prompting chuckles from the crowd. Jayden's cheeks burned, but he spoke up. It's a prototype, sir. Solar-powered with AI navigation. It's worth... Malone cut him off, laughing. Worth what? A trip to the scrapyard? A woman in the crowd, her phone out, started recording. Leave him alone, she called, her voice sharp. He's just a kid. Malone's smirk faltered, but he doubled down. Ma'am, this is police business. Stay back. Jayden caught the woman's eye, grateful for her support. He didn't know it yet, but that video was about to change everything. The tow truck rumbled up, its driver, a burly man named Carl, hopping out with a clipboard. What's the deal, Malone? He asked, eyeing the car. Malone jerked a thumb at Jayden. Kid's driving a hazard. Hook it up. Carl hesitated, squinting at the car's sleek lines. Looks custom. You sure? Malone's glare silenced him, and Carl began attaching the tow hook. Jayden's vision blurred with frustration. You can't do this. I've got proof it's legal. He thrust the permits at Malone, who tossed them to the ground. Oops, Malone said, smirking. Rocket lunged, barking furiously, and Jayden barely held him back. The crowd grew restless, some muttering about Malone's attitude. The woman with the phone zoomed in, capturing every moment. Jayden knelt to pick up the papers, his hands shaking. He thought of Mama D's sacrifices, of the nights he'd spent welding and coding, of the expo that could change his life. I'm not giving up, he whispered to Rocket. As he stood, a sleek black SUV roared up, kicking up dust. The crowd parted, and a woman in a sharp blazer stepped out, her presence commanding. The woman was Dr. Lena Harris, a tech mogul known for spotting genius in unlikely places. Her dark curls framed a face that was both kind and fierce, and her eyes locked onto Jayden's car like a hawk spotting prey. What's going on here? She demanded, her voice cutting through the tension. Malone stiffened, recognizing her from TV. Ma'am, this is a police matter. Doesn't look like a matter to me, Lena interrupted, striding toward Jayden. It looks like harassment. She picked up the scattered permits, scanning them quickly. These are valid. This vehicle is registered for the Tech Innovators Expo. Why is it being towed? Malone's smirk vanished, replaced by a scowl. It's unsafe, that's why. Lena turned to Jayden, her gaze softening. You built this? Jayden nodded, swallowing hard. Yes, ma'am. It's a solar prototype. I call it the Horizon. Lena's lips curved into a smile. Then let's see it run. The crowd buzzed, and Jayden's heart leapt. For the first time, someone saw him. Not a kid like you, but a creator. Jayden slid into the driver's seat, Rocket hopping in beside him. He flipped a switch, and the Horizon hummed to life, its dashboard glowing with holographic displays. Malone snorted. That's it? Sounds like a golf cart. But Lena leaned closer, her eyes wide. That's no golf cart, that's next-gen tech. Jayden pressed a button, and the car's solar panels unfolded like wings glinting in the sun. The crowd gasped, phones snapping pictures. It charges itself, Jayden explained, his voice gaining confidence. And the AI can navigate any terrain. He tapped the screen, and the car eased forward, smooth as silk, before stopping precisely an inch from Malone's cruiser. Lena clapped, her laugh ringing out. Incredible! What's the range? Jayden grinned. 500 miles on a full charge, and it's got a top speed of 120. The crowd cheered, but Malone's face darkened. Doesn't change the fact it's a hazard, he muttered. But his voice lacked conviction. The woman with the phone kept recording, her video now live streaming to thousands. Sensing the tide turning, Malone tried to regain control. All right, kid, you've had your fun. but I'm still impounding this thing. He gestured to Carl, who hesitated, glancing at Lena. Officer, Lena said, her tone icy, this vehicle is worth more than your precinct's budget. Impound it, and you'll answer to my legal team. Malone's jaw tightened, but he knew he was outmatched. Fine, he snapped, but I'm writing you up for reckless driving. Jayden frowned. I wasn't speeding, sir. The crowd murmured, and the woman with the phone shouted, We got it all on video! You got nothing on him! Malone's eyes darted to the phones, realizing he was trapped. Lena stepped between them. Officer, I suggest you let this young man get to his expo, unless you want this video on every news channel by tonight. Malone glared but backed off, muttering, Get out of here, kid. Jayden exhaled, his hands still gripping the wheel. He wasn't free yet, but he was closer. Jayden pulled back onto the highway, Lena's SUV trailing behind. Rocket panted happily, oblivious to the drama. Jayden's mind raced, replaying Malone's sneer, Lena's arrival, the crowd's cheers. We made it, boy, he told Rocket, who licked his hand. But doubt crept in. Could he really compete at the expo? His car was a prototype, unpolished compared to corporate entries. Lena's voice crackled through his phone. She'd given him her number before they left. Jayden, that car's a game changer. Don't let that cop get in your head. He smiled, her words a lifeline. Thanks, Doctor, Harris. But why'd you help me? She laughed. Because I was you once, a kid with a dream no one believed in. Now, drive. You've got a future to win. The Vegas skyline appeared, a glittering promise against the dusk. Jayden felt a surge of hope, but also fear. The expo was hours away, and he had no idea what awaited. One thing was sure. He wasn't just a kid anymore. He was a contender. The Tech Innovators Expo was a dazzling chaos of lights, booths, and buzzing drones. Jayden parked the Horizon in his assigned spot, a tiny corner dwarfed by sleek corporate displays. Rocket curled up under the booth's table, chewing a toy Jayden had brought. Volunteers gawked at the car, whispering about its odd design. Jayden ignored them, setting up his presentation with shaky hands. Lena appeared, her blazer swapped for a casual jacket. Looks good, Jayden. Ready to wow them? He shrugged, nerves eating at him. These companies have millions. I've got this. Lena knelt beside him, her voice firm. You've got heart, and that's worth more. Tell your story. They'll listen. As the expo opened, crowds swarmed the big-name booths. Tesla, Google, startups with glossy prototypes. Jayden's corner stayed quiet, his car overlooked. He thought of Mama D, who'd texted him a prayer emoji. For her, he whispered, straightening. Then a kid in a hoodie approached, eyes wide. Did you really build this? Jayden nodded, and the kid grinned. That's dope. It was a small win, but it lit a spark. Jayden's first pitch was to a group of investors, their faces skeptical as he began. The Horizon's not just a car, he said, his voice cracking at first but growing stronger. It's a solution. Solar power, AI navigation, built for people who can't afford fancy EVs. He showed data, range, efficiency, cost, projected on his beat-up laptop. Rocket, sensing the moment, sat up proudly, drawing smiles from the crowd. One investor, a woman with sharp glasses, asked, How'd a high schooler build this? Jayden hesitated, then spoke from the heart. I grew up in foster care. This car's my way out, for me and for others like me. The woman's expression softened, and she scribbled notes. But not everyone was impressed. A rival team from a startup called Volt Tech snickered nearby, their leader, a smug guy named Ethan, muttering, Nice sob story, kid. Jayden's fists clenched, but Lena's voice echoed in his head. Tell your story. He kept going, pitch after pitch, each one smoother than the last. By noon, Jayden's booth was still quiet, but the internet was exploding. The woman's video from the roadside had gone viral, racking up millions of views. Hashtags like Jayden Carter and Horizon Prototype trended, with comments praising his grit and slamming Malone's behavior. This kid's a genius, one user wrote. That cop's toast, another added. Jayden was oblivious, focused on his next pitch until Lena showed him her phone. You're a star, Jayden. His eyes widened at the view count. All this? For me? Lena nodded. For you, and what you stand for. Keep shining. The video drew crowds to his booth, curious faces now eager to see the viral teen and his car. But fame brought pressure. Reporters swarmed, asking about Malone, the car, his life. Jayden answered honestly, but each question felt like a weight. Rocket sensed his stress, nudging his leg. Jayden scratched his ears, grounding himself. He wasn't here for fame. He was here to win. As night fell, the expo's main event loomed, a live demo where finalists would showcase their tech. Jayden was a long shot, but Lena had pulled strings to get him a slot. He prepped the Horizon, checking every wire, when he noticed something off. The AI's code was glitching, commands misfiring. This wasn't like this yesterday, he muttered, panic rising. Rocket growled, staring at a figure slipping away from the booth. Ethan from Volt Tech, a smirk on his face. Jayden's blood boiled. He messed with my code, he told Lena, who'd arrived to check on him. She frowned. Can you fix it? Jayden nodded, opening his laptop. But it'll take hours. The demo's in 3. He worked furiously, Rocket guarding the booth like a sentinel. Lena stayed, fetching coffee and fending off reporters. Lines of code blurred before Jayden's eyes, but he thought of Mama D, of Malone's laugh, of the kids online cheering him on. I'm not letting them win, he growled, typing faster. At 2 a.m., Jayden cracked the sabotage, restoring the AI with minutes to spare. He slumped in his chair, exhausted but triumphant. Rocket licked his face, and Lena clapped his shoulder. You're unstoppable, kid. Jayden grinned, but his nerves returned as the demo approached. Voltec's prototype, a flashy EV with holographic rims, was the favorite, and Ethan's smug glances didn't help. The demo arena was packed, lights glaring, cameras rolling. Jayden drove the Horizon onto the stage, its panels gleaming. The crowd murmured, unimpressed by its scrappy look. Ethan went first, his car zipping through an obstacle course with flair. Applause erupted, and Jayden's stomach churned. We got this, Rocket, he whispered, though Rocket was back at the booth. Jayden took a deep breath, starting his demo. The Horizon glided through the course, its AI dodging obstacles with eerie precision. When the solar panels unfolded mid-run, powering a climb up a steep ramp, the crowd gasped. Jayden's heart soared. He was in the game. Halfway through the demo, the Horizon screen flashed red, an overload warning. Jayden's pulse spiked. The sabotage wasn't fully fixed. Ethan's code had left a hidden trap. The car slowed, its panels flickering. Ethan smirked from the sidelines, whispering to his team. The crowd's cheers faded, replaced by murmurs of disappointment. Jayden's mind raced. He could abort the demo, but that meant losing everything. Instead, he leaned into the mic. Folks, this is real tech. Messy, but honest. Watch me fix it live. The boldness stunned the audience, and Lena's eyes widened with pride. Jayden plugged in his laptop, hands flying over the keys, narrating his work. The AI's overloaded, but I'm rerouting power. Now. The Horizon roared back to life, finishing the course in record time. The crowd erupted, chanting, "Jayden! Jayden!" Ethan's smirk vanished, and Lena hugged Jayden as he stepped off stage. "That was legendary," she said. But Jayden knew the real fight was still ahead. The judges deliberated as the expo wound down, tension thick in the air. Jayden sat with Rocket, scratching his ears, trying to stay calm. Volt-Tech's booth was swarmed, Ethan shaking hands like he'd already won. Jayden overheard a judge say, "The kid's car is innovative, but Volt-Tech's polish." His heart sank. Polish mattered more than heart, it seemed. Lena joined him, her face unreadable. "Whatever happens, you've changed the game." Jayden nodded, but doubt gnawed at him. He thought of Mama D, waiting back home, of the scholarship he needed for college. Rocket whined, nudging his hand, and Jayden smiled. "You're right, boy. We gave it our all." The announcer took the stage, and the crowd hushed. "Third place, Volt-Tech." Ethan's face fell, and Jayden's breath caught. "Second place, Horizon, by Jayden Carter." Cheers erupted, but Jayden's heart twisted. Second wasn't enough for the scholarship. Then the announcer grinned. "And first place, a tie, Horizon and Volt-Tech for innovation and execution." The crowd roared, but Jayden sensed trouble brewing. A tie meant splitting the prize, a $100,000 scholarship and a contract with Lena's company. Jayden was thrilled, but Ethan's glare promised conflict. At the award ceremony, Ethan grabbed the mic first, boasting about Volt-Tech's superior tech. Jayden, nervous but resolute, spoke next. "This isn't just about me," he said. "It's for every kid who's told they don't belong. I built this for them." The crowd cheered louder for Jayden, and Ethan's smile tightened. Lena presented the awards, whispering to Jayden, "You're the real winner here." Rocket, allowed on stage, stole the show, wagging his tail as cameras flashed. Social media exploded again, with hashtag Jayden and Rocket trending worldwide. But backstage, Ethan cornered Jayden. "You got lucky, kid. This isn't over." Jayden stood tall, Rocket growling softly. "I don't need luck, Ethan. I've got work." He walked away. But Ethan's words lingered. The tie felt like a truce, not a victory, and Jayden knew he'd face Ethan again. The next morning, Lena called Jayden to her office at the expo. "There's a problem," she said, her face grim. "Volt-Tech's claiming you stole their AI code. They're threatening to sue, and the judges are reconsidering the tie Jayden's world tilted." "That's a lie. I wrote every line myself," Rocket whined, sensing his distress. Lena believed him, but the accusation was serious. Ethan's team had submitted evidence, screenshots of code that looked eerily like Jayden's. "They must have hacked my laptop during the sabotage," Jayden realized, his voice shaking. Lena nodded. "We'll fight this, but we need proof. Can you trace the hack?" Jayden's mind raced. He'd kept backups on a thumb drive, time-stamped before the expo. If he could show his code predated Volt-Tech's, he'd clear his name. "I need a computer," he said, determination burning. Lena smiled. "Use mine. Let's bury them." Jayden worked through the night, Rocket curled up beside him. Lena's office was a high-tech haven, her computer faster than anything Jayden had used. He pulled up his backups, comparing them to Volt-Tech's evidence. The timestamps proved his code was older, but he needed more. A digital footprint tying Ethan to the hack. Digging into the Horizon's logs, Jayden found it. A rogue IP address accessing his system during the expo. He traced it to Ethan's laptop, confirmed by Lena's IT team. "Got you," Jayden whispered, saving the evidence. Rocket thumped his tail as if cheering. By dawn, Jayden presented his findings to Lena and the judges. "Volt-Tech didn't just sabotage me. They tried to steal my work," he said, projecting the logs. Ethan, summoned to the meeting, stammered, his confidence crumbling. The judges' faces hardened, and Jayden knew he'd turned the tide. The judges revoked Voltec's award, disqualifying them for ethics violations. Jayden was named sole winner, securing the full scholarship and contract. Ethan stormed out, his team in disarray, as reporters swarmed, eager for the scandal. Jayden stayed calm, thanking Lena and the judges. "This is for Mama D," he said, his voice thick. Social media erupted, with fans hailing Jayden's comeback. The viral video now had 50 million views, and Malone faced an investigation, his career in jeopardy. Jayden read comments like, "This kid's unstoppable," and felt a weight lift. He'd fought and won, not just for himself, but for every underdog. Lena offered him a ride back to Vegas, but Jayden chose the Horizon, Rocket in the passenger seat. "We're driving home in style," he told his dog, grinning. The desert stretched ahead, and for the first time, Jayden felt free. Jayden arrived home to a hero's welcome. Mama D, a stout woman with a laugh like sunshine, hugged him so tight he couldn't breathe. "My boy," she sobbed, stroking Rocket's fur. Neighbors filled the yard, cheering as Jayden parked the Horizon. Kids ran up, touching the car in awe, asking, "Can I build one too?" Jayden shared his story, his voice cracking as he thanked Mama D. "You gave me a home when I had nothing. This is for you." She waved him off, eyes shining. "You did this, Jayden, you and that crazy dog." Rocket barked, stealing laughs from the crowd. That night, Jayden sat on the porch, Rocket at his feet, reading messages from fans. One stood out, a girl in foster care who'd started coding because of him. "You're my hero," she wrote. Jayden replied, "You're next." He knew his journey was bigger than himself now. Lena's contract meant Jayden would work with her team, refining the Horizon for production. He enrolled in college, the scholarship covering everything, with plans to study engineering. Mama D framed his award, hanging it beside a photo of them with Rocket. "My inventor," she said proudly. Jayden visited schools, sharing his story and teaching kids to code. "You don't need money or a big name," he told them. "You need heart." Rocket came along, charming everyone, his floppy ear a mascot for resilience. Social media followed every step with hashtag Jayden and Rocket inspiring a movement. But Jayden stayed grounded, tinkering in the garage, dreaming up new ideas. He knew challenges would come, Ethan's lawsuit loomed, and fame brought haters. But with Mama D, Rocket, and Lena in his corner, he was ready. Voltec's lawsuit dragged on, Ethan claiming Jayden had defamed them. It was a desperate move, but it cost Jayden sleepless nights. Lena's legal team handled it, uncovering more dirt. Voltec had a history of stealing ideas. "They're digging their own grave," Lena assured him. Jayden testified in court, his voice steady as he recounted the sabotage and hack. Rocket waited outside, a comfort during breaks. The judge, moved by Jayden's honesty, ruled in his favor, dismissing the suit and fining Voltec. Ethan's company collapsed, his reputation ruined. Fans celebrated online, posting memes of Jayden and Rocket winning at life. Jayden read them with Mama D, laughing till they cried. "You showed 'em, baby," she said. He hugged her, grateful for every struggle that led to this moment. A year later, the Horizon hit the market, a sleek, affordable EV that sold out in hours. Jayden stood at the launch, now 18, his suit tailored, Rocket in a bow tie. Lena introduced him as the future of tech, and the crowd roared. Mama D watched from the front row, tears streaming. Jayden drove the first production model off the line, its panels gleaming. "This is for everyone who's been counted out," he said, his voice booming. The event trended globally. with buyers sharing stories of how the horizon changed their lives, families driving clean, kids inspired to invent. Backstage, Jayden called Mama D to the stage. "This is your car too," he said, handing her keys to a custom Horizon. She sobbed, hugging him as Rocket barked. The moment went viral, cementing Jayden's legacy as a hero of heart and hustle. Jayden started a foundation, funding STEM for foster kids. He hired mentors, engineers, coders, dreamers who'd faced their own battles. "We're building a family," he told his team, Rocket snoring in the office. The foundation's first class graduated, with kids pitching ideas that made Jayden tear up. He visited the desert where Malone had stopped him, now a memory of triumph. "We came a long way, boy," he told Rocket, tossing a ball. The dog chased it carefree as Jayden smiled. He'd turned pain into purpose, and the world was watching. Social media buzzed with stories of his mentees, kids coding apps, building drones, chasing dreams. Jayden retweeted them, adding, "This is why we fight." His followers, now millions, cheered, sharing his mission to lift others up. Lena invited Jayden to the next Tech Innovators Expo, this time as a judge. He walked the halls, Rocket trotting beside him, marveling at how far he'd come. Kids swarmed him, asking for selfies, calling him the Horizon Guy. He laughed, signing notebooks, feeling like a big brother. At his old booth, he met the woman who'd recorded the viral video. "You changed my life," she said, now a journalist covering tech. Jayden hugged her. "You changed mine first." They posed with Rocket, the photo trending instantly. Fans commented, "Legends meeting legends." That night, Jayden judged the demos, spotting a shy girl with a solar drone. "Keep going," he told her, seeing himself in her nervous smile. He knew she'd be next, and he'd be there to cheer. Jayden's foundation expanded, opening labs across the country. He spoke at the UN, advocating for clean tech and equity, Rocket stealing hearts in the audience. "Innovation isn't about money," he said. "It's about who gets a seat at the table." The speech went viral, inspiring policies worldwide. Mama D retired, traveling with Jayden to openings, her pride infectious. "My boy's changing the world," she told reporters, Rocket in her lap. Jayden blushed, but he knew she was right. His story had sparked a movement, with kids everywhere building their own horizons. At home, Jayden tinkered with a new prototype, a flying car, just for fun. Rocket watched, chewing a wrench. "We're not done dreaming, boy," Jayden said, grinning. The future was wide open, and he was ready to soar. On Jayden's 19th birthday, Vegas named a street after him, Carter Way, near the Expo Center. The ceremony drew thousands, with Mama D and Lena unveiling the sign. Rocket wore a tiny mayor's sash, barking as confetti fell. Jayden, overwhelmed, spoke through tears. "This isn't my street, it's ours." Fans flooded social media, sharing photos of Carter Way with captions like, "From foster kid to legend." Jayden walked the street that night, Rocket trotting beside him, feeling the weight of his journey. He'd come from nothing, yet built something eternal. A kid approached, holding a toy Horizon. "I want to be like you," he said. Jayden knelt, smiling. "You'll be better." He gave the kid his card, knowing another dream was born. A rival company, Phoenix Tech, emerged, claiming their EV outdid the Horizon. Jayden saw it as a challenge, not a threat. "Competition makes us better," he told his team, Rocket snoring in the boardroom. They worked on Horizon 2.0 with smarter AI and a recyclable frame. The launch faced skepticism, with critics citing Phoenix Tech's hype. Jayden drove Horizon 2.0 across the desert, live streaming to millions. "This isn't just a car," he said, Rocket in the passenger seat. "It's a promise." The stream broke records, and orders poured in. Phoenix Tech's CEO called, proposing a partnership. Jayden agreed, but on his terms, equity for all workers. The deal made headlines, proving Jayden's vision wasn't just tech, but justice. Years later, Jayden stood at his foundation's global summit, now 25, with rocket graying but still spry. Thousands attended, from foster kids to CEOs, all inspired by his story. The horizon was a global icon, and Carter Way was a pilgrimage for dreamers. Mama D, healthy and proud, sat in the front row cheering loudest. Jayden closed the summit with a new announcement: a free online STEM platform, open to all. "Dreams don't have a price tag," he said, rocket barking in agreement. The crowd roared and social media lit up, with millions pledging to join. Comments flooded in. "Jayden Carter is a movement. Horizon forever." As he left the stage, a girl handed him a drawing, a flying horizon with Jayden and Rocket in the sky. He hugged her, tears in his eyes. "We're just getting started," he whispered. The world agreed, sharing his story, ready for whatever he'd build next.